Hi, Kalispera from Cyprus. This is George. This is going to be a very short session on craps training. Has nothing to do with dice itself, but more to do with what equipment you will need and what sort of benchmarking you should be doing. So let's go through the whole course and see what we have here, what we have to cover. So craps training 2020 session 1 today is going to be equipment and benchmarking. It's going to be a very simple session, probably will take us, I don't know, 5 minutes, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so basically there's two sections to this: the equipment that you need and the benchmarking that you have to make once you have your equipment in place. For me, I live in Cyprus, which is a place very far from America, so everything is very kind of far, and I actually had to invest in a table. I'm sitting right next to it, let's say, at the moment. But the way I started was I had a plastic table, a foldable table, and put some felt on it, put my leather briefcase as a back wall, and a couple of cardboard files on the sides, and that's how it all started for me. I got some dice from Amazon.com. In fact, I think I got 15 of them, 3 sleeves as they call them. And each sleeve has 5 dice to show how casinos actually work. Because in casinos, when you go and pick up the dice, they offer you a choice of 5 identical dice. Now, the dice, depending on which area you're going to be playing at, which casino or whatever, you will have a choice, not a choice actually, whatever the casino is using, it's either 7-5-5s or 7-7-5 dice. So you will need to have at least 5 of them. Now, the regulations give the casinos the right to choose which dice they're going to be utilizing. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to show you, these are 2 different dice. The red one is bigger than the green one, and when you touch them, when you put them together, it does make a difference. The red one is also heavier than the other one. Those are the 7-7-5s, and in most casinos in Vegas, I think you will find the 7-7-5s. In other casinos around the US, perhaps they use the smaller ones, the 7-5-5s. But basically the regulations say that you have the tolerances are between 0.75 of an inch to 0.78, I think, I'm not sure, or 7-7-5, which is the biggest ones. To start with, I don't think you'll need to get anything expensive, but as time goes by and you develop your mechanics, your rolls, it is worth investing in dice that are casino grade, and those are called certified perfects. There are a couple of places in the US that offer them. I'm sure that I'm not the expert to tell you which are the best. I think a gentleman by the name of Bone Thrower, he has his own dice, but he also knows the names of the companies that provide these dice. So as you can see, we're in equipment and we're still at the dice. So there's a lot of things to think about. Dice from Amazon are relatively lighter. They range from, because I have scales and I have weighed them, and they are about 8.4 to 8.6 or 7 grams each. These ones, the red ones, the 775s, they weigh around 9.6 grams. Now, you might say to me, big deal, it's 1 gram difference. What difference could that make? You will understand when you throw that these are very small objects. And 1 gram is like 20 pounds difference in a bigger object. So they do make a difference, and you will need to familiarize yourself in the long run before you go to a casino, because the experience is going to be different. All right. Apart from these things, I found out that you will need to have a pack. This thing, the on-off pack. And I found this very difficult to find them in Europe in general. So when I was last in America, the first thing I did was to go to a casino supply store and get these things. They're very cheap. Now most of you are in the States, so I'm sure it's very easy for you to find a place to order them and have them delivered very quickly. But for me, there is no delivery outside the States, so I had to go and get a couple of these to have them with me. The next thing is this thing. Now, most of the people the demographics of my, let's say, of my channel are indicating that most of the people that actually are involved in craps, they are of a certain age, between 40 and 60, something like that. So it's not for the young people. So you will understand when I tell you that this bamboo stick, or whatever you want to call it, it's very, very good for your back, because when you're throwing dice, you're going to be doing this repetitive bending over and picking up the dice all the time. And this saves time and it saves your back. So I would definitely recommend you getting one. There are different sizes, and it's important that you decide which one to get for your table or for your setup before you go there. There are small ones and there are big ones. I think this is a medium to large stick, because my table is a 12-foot table. I haven't measured it actually, so I think it's 39 inches or something like that, maybe less. But yeah, there are different sizes. What else do we need to have? All right, so we need to get this little, we just see, buy and lay and on and off labels, which they're used at casinos. You can actually print them out in like pieces of paper and put them on if you want to, but yeah, it's nice to have them. I got 2 of each. One of them says on off, and say basically on means you're working, and off you have your bets off. And the other one is to buy the 4 and 10, for example, or lay the 4 and 10. So yeah, it's nice to have these things. So I thought, they're very cheap. Whenever I have mentioned in terms of the stick, the packs, and the little things over there, they only cost me something like $30. So it's not that expensive to get your hands on some. As far as dice are concerned, I would say start off with Amazon dice and have at least 3 sleeves to see whether you like what you're doing. And perhaps afterwards, if you go through them, you'll find that the edges, like these dice, the edges are a bit torn, so you'll need to get new ones, and it's an investment of, let's say, about $10 to $12 for Amazon dice. But these ones, they're very expensive. When I say $10 to $12 for 5, to get a sleeve of certified perfects, 7, 7.55s or 7.75s. I think they will set you back between $15 to $20, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps more. So it's an investment that you will only make if you actually like, where you are with your equipment. Of course, you can go all the way and get a table for yourself. There are several tables on Facebook. Some of them sell them on eBay. Mine is brand new. It's from China, and I think Amazon sells them in America as well. It cost me, including taxes and importation duties and all that, and to get it transferred here, 1,500 euros, sorry, dollars, and another 250 to have delivery and VAT and all that. So it's much cheaper than actually getting a custom-made table for yourself, which could set you back, I don't know, between $5,000-$10,000 if you want to have it, like casino grade. So yeah, that's just a side note. I'm not expecting everyone to invest in that sort of thing. The felt with the beds, yeah, the felt. My first felt was, I think, from Amazon again, and it cost me something like 12 UK sterling, which translates into, let's say, $15 or something like that. I'm sure you know that. And yeah, it I sort of put some more felt under it so that it was a bit more bouncy, but that was much cheaper to do. And the first experience of throwing was okay for me. Obviously, all my friends were laughing behind my back, but I was determined. I was really determined. I really liked this game and I wanted to do it. So here I am with a full table. What else? Right. You need chips. You need the chips, complete set of chips. I would say definitely have around 200 in singles, 200 in fives, 200 pieces in 25s, and I would say 50 pieces of 100. Or even go for 100 in singles, 100 in fives, 100 in 25s, and 1,500 denomination. If you want to go higher, I would go, let's say, another 50 in 500, but keep it at that. The quality of the chips, the quality varies. You can get the plastic ones, which are very, very cheap. And then you can move upwards. There is casino quality, whereby they use composite. It's clay with composite plastic on the outside and things like that. So they have a weight of about 12 to 14, perhaps even 15 grams. So they feel chunkier, and I mean, these ones, I got them a long time ago from Vegas. They're very good quality. They are composite, casino grade, and they cost a lot. I think they set me back something like $375 at the time, back in 2001. All right, so the last piece of equipment, obviously, if you want to go live and or record videos and put them out on YouTube, best camera ever out there is your cell phone. I mean, they have really good quality. You will not need that sort of quality actually to upload. You can only, you can use 720p as the resolution. Would be nice if you can use 60 frames per second, but let me know if you want to do that, and I will guide you through it if I can. And that's the first part of the session. The second part, we're going to talk about benchmarking. Basically, before you start being serious about it, just see where you are. See, with your throw, with your mechanics, as we call it. In Craps Nation, I think most of us agree that we are on a journey to become better. And yeah, basically you have to start somewhere and you have to record your rolls so you can see where you are. So record your rolls in 3 columns. Just start with roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go down in batches of 36, I would say. And then the second column would say left die, and the third column would say right die, and perhaps have a fourth column for the total result. And record them in batches of 36. Try to get through 5 or 10 sessions from between 180 rolls to 360 rolls, just to establish where you are before anybody teaches you anything, before you listen to dice sets and grips and things like that. I would very much like you to do that, simply because I'd like to know at the end of this training, if you call it training, where you are. Personally, I'd just like to put a huge disclaimer out there for everybody right before I finish this. I consider myself to be a student of this game. I'm still learning a lot, and because of being fortunate enough to come across these wonderful people in Craps Nation and other people who are not really associated with Craps Nation, but they are friends of this sport. I have been able to make good friends who offer very good advice, and I've come to the level where I can understand what they're talking about, and if I need to correct something, I know exactly what they're talking about. And this takes time. Takes time, takes familiarity, takes a lot of involvement in this sport. You need to immerse yourself in the craps sport to understand all the terminology that people are using, so that you pick things up very quickly, so that you can change things on the fly, so that you can do amazing things. Now, I'll give you an example. I consider myself to be an okay shooter. With the recorded live recordings that I've been doing for the last 6 months, I have an SOR of 10.26. That's for last year. This year it's a different story. Now, my mentors have an SOR between 15 to 17. An SR of 15 to 17, and an SOR of over 20. So you can see that there is a long road for me, but in the process, why not teach somebody else, mentor somebody else who likes this and who wants to become better. In this community, we help one another, and we do it for free. I'm not going to ask anything from anybody. I'm not going to ask anyone to believe that there is such thing as dice control. All I'm trying to do here is to show you how to become familiar with dice, show you how to become familiarized with the game of craps, show you that there's a lot more than you knew about the game. And through these different lessons just sessions that we're going to have, I'm hoping that you have a benefit out of it. So, this is the end of the session. I don't know whether you want to, I don't know if anybody's up or listening to blabbering on, but I'll give it a go and see whether anybody's is up. There's a couple of people in the house, so alright. Let's see, if anyone has any questions, by all means let me know. I'm more than happy to answer for you. Hi Mark, good to see you. Hi Michael, good to see you. How do you think the first session went? Boring? There's quite a bit of a delay between me asking a question and somebody answering, so hopefully you guys will not keep me hanging. Okay. Alright, well, I'm gonna do some rolls later on. I'll probably just finish it now. But I think it's straightforward, and I think the questions are gonna be more to do with later on. When we get into the other sections, let me just see. I would expect people to have questions about position and posture, and what's the difference between, position and starting position. Position basically has to do with where you stand at the table and how you stand at the table. And starting position, we're talking more about the dice. So, do you have any applications you use to track your rolls? Yes, I do, Michael. In fact, if you'd like, I can. Okay, yep, bone tracker. In fact, if you would like us to send a copy to you or directly to the website that has the original one, it's an Excel spreadsheet and it has macros enabled on it. So the best thing to do is to use it on a PC. If you have a Mac, I think it will not work because I have Mac and it never works. So indeed, yeah, Mark Evans, the craps community is growing up, correct. um, basically, yeah, Bone Tracker I think is one of the most widespread used software. It's very easy to understand. There are some things that you will need to actually do for yourself. There is two versions of it actually. There is one version which I haven't seen on any website, but a friend of mine gave it to me, Sleepy25, and that copy has all 565 combinations of die sets that you can have. So there's quite a few of them out there, and the file itself is huge. So yeah, if you want me, I use Dice Tracker. Okay. What is Dice Tracker? I mean, does it just record the results, or does it give you any advice on sort of sets to use, or your edge, your percentage over the casino, things like that? Mark, let me know. It could be very interesting. I'm not somebody who knows everything, so yeah, great to know that. My coffee's not good, by the way. I use Dice Tracker, okay. So, on my phone, record my rolls for ETs. Okay, I see. Do you have Dice Tracker? Is that something that Vince or Menti is using? And is that for Android phones only? Because I have not seen an iPhone Dice Tracker. I'm just asking. All right, I'll wait. Hopefully you won't keep me hanging. Casino, okay. I use an app called Dice Control. It's pretty simple. Dice Statistic. Okay, got you. Now it's probably a good idea to have something that you can keep track of your casino rolls and then go back to your room and analyze them. Yeah, that's a pretty nifty idea. I'm a programmer, so I'm hoping to one day set up a more sophisticated one, more like Bone Tracker, but in app form. Oh, Michael, you read my mind, but I'm not a programmer. I mean, I wish that somebody would do that. I just wish that somebody would do it in an application which is on a mobile phone. That would be brilliant, my friend. I don't know if you've ever seen the Bone Tracker. It's got quite a few macros in it, but basically what it does, it transposes results and gives advice on which one would have the highest SOR. It's just numbers, just transposing numbers from 1 to 6 into different numbers. So yeah, it's running quite a complex scenario. It has all the scenarios. Just need to keep my rolls. Okay, cool. I like that. Mathematician one, programmer is the other one. Well, I'm an accountant, so I have to do a lot of programming as well and maths. All right, guys. That would be great, Michael. I'd be very interested to see that. Keep us posted on that. That would be fantastic, actually. Yeah, Michael, dream team. No, please do keep me posted. If you want to just write a comment, and I'll give you my email so we can keep in touch on this. This is brilliant. Okay, so thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys keeping company, and hopefully, just to understand what sort of equipment you have to have before you actually start shooting. Did I mention alligator walls? Well, when my table arrived, it arrived without alligator walls, and it kind of defeated the object of the exercise. I could not get my hands on alligator walls even with my old setup. So I was hoping that the Chinese would have fitted it on the table, but unfortunately it wasn't on. So I made a complaint and they DHL'd everything to me within, I think, 48 hours it was here. But still, make sure that when you get a table or a setup, you have alligator walls, because at the end of the day, you will feel like you're cheating, and you will feel like your results are not real because you don't have those randomizing walls at the back. So yeah, make sure that your setup, at least you invest into some alligator walls. I think they cost, I don't know, between $40 to $60 for a strip of 5-6 feet. So yeah, that's session 1, guys. Thank you very much for watching me, and thanks for all the interaction, Michael and Mark. Appreciate you guys. All right, this is George from Cyprus. Following soon is going to be 36 rolls. Dice out.